Hello, good morning to everyone. Welcome to Radio Mayapur, the link to your heart. Thanks for tuning up into our radio from Mayapur, West Bengal, India. Today we are very honored to have a wonderful guest from Italy, from Rome. His name is Fabio Giudice, and he's an accomplished musician who travels around the world teaching mandolin. He travels from Europe to America, Australia, Japan, Korea, everywhere in the world. And he has many people learning this ancient instrument, Italian instrument, mandolin. And so I like to give a little bit of my knowledge about Mr. Fabio Giudice, who is also my friend. We know each other from when we are 15 years old. By the way, this is Ganga Das, is your host for today's podcast. I am also from Italy, and I was born in Napoli, but I live in Rome, and that's where I met my friend, Mr. Fabio. When we were 15 years old, we were running around the city searching for some pleasure and some truth. Finally, we came in India, and in 1978, we came by road from Istanbul all the way to India, and we had many wonderful experiences. And unfortunately or fortunately, he had to go back to Italy, where his father was a little ill and eventually passed away. So he went to study in a conservatory of Rome, and he learned playing classical guitar. Then at one point in his life, he changed. After coming to India in Bombay, many years later, he met some people from Bollywood that wanted to engage him in playing some music, some music for the Bollywood films, I guess.
Soundtrack. Yep. Here we are.
And so then he went back. And when he went back, he thought, well, I don't know much about my culture and my classical music of Italy, so he went to study in a conservatory, and he also became an accomplished guitarist. Then at a certain point in his life changed for whatever reason, and started to learn to play mandolin. So we are very glad to have him with us today in Mayapur. Now we have been traveling for the last 3 months. His days are coming to end. Yeah. Tomorrow we are going to Kolkata, and on the 14th flying back to Rome. So, Mr. Fabio, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, yeah, here we are. You almost told everything is interesting to people. And what else? What else? Mandolin, yes, music. Music came into my life as a professional, and is still there as I teach in Conservatory in Italy. Now I teach mandolin. I used to teach guitar before, and now I mostly teach mandolin. And so maybe mandolin is well-known instrument here in India too. For sure you will know the famous Carnatic musician Srinivas, the mandolin player who unfortunately passed away a few years ago. And mandolin is quite famous in all Europe, all all the world, let me say, has one kind of a mandolin, so their own variety.
Of course, I personally met Mr. Yu Srinivasan when he was a child prodigy. He was only 16 years old when I was in Chennai at that time, maybe in 1984 or 85. And I presented him some Christian conscious book he really much appreciated. And so he was a wonderful person, very sattvic, and the style he played, I would say, I never heard anybody playing this Carnatic style with such an instrument.
Yeah, the instrument is not so present, not so active in Carnatic music, but many Western instruments are coming into Carnatic music. Let's say guitar too, electric guitar, saxophone, that are not for sure instrument of Indian traditions. So this is from the last 30 or 40 years.
Nice. But let me ask you, Mr. Fabio, what attracts you to come to India? Because you came with me in 1978 and we had a wonderful journey. But then you came many times in India. This is the 5th time you're coming to India, a few years by, and then you come. What is that attracts you to come back to this place?
Oh, yes.
If you can say in few words, of course.
Some people say that there's the Africa illness. Sorry, my English is not so perfect. It's missing, some word is missing. Africa sickness. So it means you must go back there. So that's what remains in my heart since 1960, 70 when we came. And from now and then I must come back to reset myself in a proper way, as India is really something special you can find for sure any other part of the world.
But tell us, what is that specialty which is not available anywhere in the world? Is that the people, or is the places, is the temple?
The food.
The food, is the weather.
No. Joking. For sure is approach to spiritual world. This is something really special that India is about.
So you think that India could become like the enlightenment for the whole planet? Something like that?
Maybe. All the planet has its own way of searching for the religious approach, for the spiritual approach. To the spiritual approach, every part of the world has its own way, but what I feel that India is really the deep roots of India are still alive and still present throughout the whole country.
Nice, wonderful. Tell us, in the last 3 months, you went to visit so many famous temples in South India, like Sri Rangam.
Thank you.
And Balaji and Tirupati, and then you went to Kanchipura. So which one of these temples remains impressed in your consciousness, in your mind, as the most astounding experience?
Well, so many of them. So hard to say, as any one of them had his own special mood. As the deity are there that gives a special mood to the place. This is goes together with the previous answer I gave you. So spirituality is there, and any place has its own special mood. Even if in the smallest village we visited small temples, something I would like to say magical was there. For sure, the big temples that I never saw in my life, like Sri Rangam, was the first one, the first big one, really big I approached. Still is there. The impression is amazing. It's really amazing. If you never saw anything like that, I saw some picture. I didn't want to dig into that before coming. So I just had a quick review to the places, but I want the freshness of the impression come to me as I was there. And really Sri Rangam makes you feel like that.
It's nice. To me, Sriranga remind me a little bit of Angkor Wat in Cambodia. It's a similar type of structure, a temple, but the difference is that Ranganath or Sri Rangam is alive with the puja, with the worship, with the cleaning, with the painting, whether Angkor Wat is more or less a monument.
It is a real town in the town, the temple. So, and you can really imagine how it would look like at that time when it was built or at the time. So the people was living. Sometimes it's like a time travel as I was there and I really imagine all that area, all that structure, fully painted, fully crowded of people, incense and the smell, the color, and most of all the deity for sure.
Yeah, sure. Okay, let's shift a little bit about the taste of India because you have been traveling everywhere. You're tasting so many things. Which food do you like the most? I mean, it's difficult to say because I understand there is so many variety. But where something really impress you of South Indian food, what would be?
Well, maybe what people don't realize is coming to India is like going to Europe, in terms of width, in terms of vastity of the land. So would you prefer something from the ocean of Spain or Portugal ocean, or something from north of Sweden, something from south of Italy, or something from Hungary? So the variety is so amazing. So the similar is in India, to my opinion. So it's really impossible to answer that question.
Of course.
But what I can say, to my taste, South Indian food is really, really tasteful, full of spices, not just hot of chili, but full of different spices that they blend in an amazing way. You know, even if I had a little too much of rice to my taste.
Okay, let's shift the subject now. I would like to ask you, what are the people that you met which remain impressed in your mind that there were something very special or something astonishing or something different from the people you know? I'm sure you met San Swami in Chennai, and you met so many devotees and brahmanas.
I want to go back for 1 minute. And 1978 was when we came first time in India. By that time, we remember meeting Indian people. They had 3 questions for us, if you will remember.
Yes.
The first one is, where you come from? Yes. The second one was, are you married? And the third one was, what's your occupation? So, and all the people that came to us with this question really wasn't people we would like to talk with.
Yeah, it was ordinary people.
Ordinary people that just knew that few English words and want to share that knowledge with us. And they were curious too, for sure. Yeah. But the people we would like to meet, they didn't speak English. Yes. So that's a complete different approach that, with your help, Mr. Gangadas, I'm so thankful for that. With your help, I could overcome. So this was a really special trip after 45 years from that time that you can speak so many languages, local language, and apart of that, your knowledge of India is so deep that really helped me to see the country in a whole different way.
Yeah, I think the difference is from the 1978 when we were just tourists and we were just on the surface of India meeting people. We are mostly staying in a hotel, dharmashala, traveling like tourists. Now, because I have been in India for more than 40 years, so we enter more inside the family and we see more deeply the culture. Yeah. And this is something which is very appealing to people, I guess.
Yeah. So in this sense, so much to say, and But I remember also after 6 months of staying in India at that time, we had a kind of tour that wasn't quite tourist one.
Of course.
We went to Rajasthan and Punjab in a way that where most tourists weren't there, didn't know.
We were more pilgrims, I would say.
Let's say that. And what I think is that from that time we were, as you said, pilgrims. But pilgrims, they do have a goal. They do start with the already set up goal. We at the time we didn't have that goal. What our goal was looking for something deeper, something more real than what we were experiencing in our daily Roman life.
You can say we were the seeker of the truth, in some way?
That's an appropriate
Correct.
description.
Okay, would you like to tell us also about your personal life, how you, when you are in Rome, how you spend your time with your wife, who is also an accomplished musician, piano teacher, and your son, who is an accomplished dancer.
Oh, yeah.
So your family, they've been engulfed into such a wonderful journey of art. So,
yeah, art is there for sure. Art is there. Since my 20th, art remained so present in my life and in my head. It became a job. I'm very lucky as my job now is teaching in the conservatory that it takes me 1 day a week. This means 1 day I go there with my students and I teach them mandolin and classical music for sure. And the other time of my week, of my daily, is devoted to study. As if I want really be a good teacher, I must still study a lot. As there's so many things in the music field, not just the performance aspect. I want to help them to become better musician. That's the difference in between a normal instrumental player, let's say a mandolin, a guitar, a violin player. You know how to play your instrument, how to express yourself through that, but to be a musician to me means something else, really, to go deep into yourself, to find what your sensitivity is about music.
I think also you are, from what I understand and seeing you in the last few years, is that you are helping people to become better people. I mean, you give also advice on the personal level to people to overcome, some stumbling blocks. Say that somebody say, "Oh, I can never play like this. It's very difficult." People get stuck into that mentality of thinking, "I'm not capable." But I'm seeing you preparing people and guiding them to overcome those difficulties. Am I correct?
Yes. What I can say about myself is that I think I'm a good teacher as I can see people where they are at the moment they come to my studio or my school, the conservatory. And so the question is where you want to go. So sometimes they think they want to go somewhere, but they don't really know. Maybe they look at some mandolin play on the internet or a live show of a live performance and say, "Oh, I want to do like that. I really want to play that music." But then little by little, mandolin is a curious instrument. As I said before, it's present in the old world culture, means there's an American mandolin, maybe it's well known for its bluegrass or jazz approach, but there's a Brazilian mandolin too that is amazing with its rhythmic feel and pulse and so on. And there is a Baroque mandolin that is a completely different instrument. And there's contemporary music for mandolin. So much of this music is coming, can you say, from Japan? And so there are very good composers over there. So there are many mandolins. That's why I try to take students to music. Music comes first, then comes the instrument. The best thing is to do the music that is taught with the instrument on the appropriate instrument. So music that was taught for the mandolin to play with for the mandolin.
I would like to ask you this question because in Madhavacharya, in our Sampradaya, he says that if you learn to play the veena, you will become self-realized. So my experience, a little bit of experience of music and bhajan and kirtan, is that music expresses the feeling of the heart or the soul. But I want to say that it's also a journey of a spiritual enlightenment for you.
Depends on your approach to the music. To me, it really was, to my experience. As what I found on playing music is the problem is not the mandolin. The problem is who is behind the mandolin. The problem is not the music. And there are also different kinds of music. Let's say what I mostly do is classical music. This means that is completely already composed. So there is not such a big space for improvisation. There's no space for improvisation at all. But other kind of music that has improvising aspects like jazz or blues with the mandolin too, or Brazilian music too, as I said, they have an improvising part that takes your approach, your feeling, and then the research you do as you sit there with your mandolin, and for sure with your instrument in general. It's not just a matter of mandolin. When you sit there alone with your instrument, what are you looking for? What I suggest to my students is that, yes, the piece of sheet in front of you is just a medium to discover something more of yourself. Then someone stops at the music, the little dots on the paper. But as Mozart said, music is what happened in between the notes.
Wow, that's a good statement.
Yeah, Mozart is not mine. Eh?
Yeah, it was not just anybody. So another thing I want to say is that because in our understanding there is Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana, which is applicable to all different paths of spiritual material. Sambandha means relationship. Abhideya means the system by which you want to achieve something. And Abhideya means the ultimate goal. So whether you're working on a material platform, a musical platform, a spiritual platform, this has to be very clear in your mind. What is my relationship, for example, with the mandolin or with music? Or what is my relationship with the Supreme? What is my relationship with nature? What is my relationship with other living entity? And what is a system for me? What is the goal is that, okay, I want to become spiritually enlightened, or I want to achieve something to be a great musician, or I want to become an accomplished mandolin player. So what is the system? So these three aspects I would like you to explore.
I get it. So this requires a long lesson. But
in
cut
short,
cut it short. Yes, cut it short is that nowadays is really a completely different approach to music, and let me say to art in general, to my view. As in the past, I mean, the past century, I can tell this from European point of view. In the past century, the students, they used to live with the master, with the teacher. So this was an approach completely different. Maybe at the beginning you just clean the brushes of the paint, the master painter, just clean them, and you don't even allow to touch any of them. Just clean the floor and
you were an apprentice. You were an apprentice.
That's it. And now is complete for sure something impossible to. Then I want to tell you this. In the past, the artist must go on through seven point of study. 3 were in the language field and 4 were in the science field. So music was one of the 4 in the science field.
Wow.
And I think as music was in the science field, there were arithmetic, means the number, geometry means the number in the space, then music, there is number in space and time, and astronomy. So this was the ancient time approach in the European culture. So music, if you're a musician, this doesn't mean you only know how to play your instrument. You know how to compose for that and for many other instruments. You're a singer, you're a keyboard player, you're an artist in the whole sense in the past time, but nowadays it's completely a different approach.
Okay, who are some famous musicians that you feel like that done a great contribution to the music world in today's and last 100 years? Let's say. I don't know, Jimi Hendrix, whatever, but you can say whatever you want.
Well, we are lucky to have this help from the past that the written tradition of Western music give us, let's say, the music of Mozart, of Bach, or Vivaldi, or Monteverdi. There are 2 composers in Western music I would like to recall that are not the world famous, but maybe they are, for sure. I think, to my opinion, they just turn the page. What I mean, there is the great book of music, and every composer that comes write down a line into that book. Then at a certain point, the page is over. Someone write a line and has to turn the page and something different. Got it?
Yes.
So, to my opinion, one person that did that page turn was Claudio Monteverdi. This beginning of 17th century. Okay.
Wow.
Is not one of the world well-known between musicians. Okay. Another one is Claude Debussy, the French one at the end, beginning of 20th century. So they really turned the page of Western classical music. But that's not the world music.
But what about the contemporary people of our time in the last 50 years?
Our time are very tough, I think.
No, we saw most wonderful, we saw from Frank Zappa to Pink Floyd, and we saw the Grateful Dead. And
you told the name.
Yeah,
Frank Zappa. Frank Zappa, let me say,
He
was a man that overcome all the barriers. He went through all the barriers. He was composing rock music just to pay the band, the full band that could play his composition for a whole brass band at the time where we had no computers.
Right.
So when computer music arrived, he was one of the first to write down and to use that computer to compose his contemporary music.
Mm-hmm. So he was a classical musician as well.
He really was, but they had fun to play. He always says in his song, we're here just for the money. We're all in that for the money. So, and for having fun.
Let's say, what is your relationship with money? Because nowadays all the musicians or all the artists, they look also in that aspect, like, okay, I need to make so much money, or I will take this contract, I will play here, unless they pay me this, I won't play. I don't know. What's your feel about this?
Yes.
Art was becoming manipulated by...
What I say is the art in the past time, or you very, very rich. This means the amateur. Amateur is one that there's so many wealthy people that can devote their time to painting, writing poetry, sculpting, or making music, just for improving their quality life. Otherwise, you're a very poor guy. You are sent to the conservatory to study, to play an instrument 10 hours a day. And after that, you can go to play in a church or a service of some prince and so on. So what I tell to my students, if you came here, don't expect to become rich.
Right.
And
In
but you'll become really satisfied if you go sincerely to the music.
I think in our Vedic time we have a great example of people who were sponsored by the kings. The kings were very pious and very noble, so they used to sponsor all the musicians, the artists, because the artists by themselves, they cannot market themselves and make money. It's not so easy for them. For some of them, is few. But many of them, they don't know how to market themselves. Therefore, they were sponsored.
This is a good point. I must talk about Western music for sure. I don't know so much about India music history. So about Western music, the point is that the music we have from the past just came from two main places. I mean, the court, where kings or prince or noble people, wealthy people were paying people to stay at their court, as they had no radio, no TV, nothing else, but they want to enjoy music.
So it was an entertainment.
So, yes and no. The entertainment, but also through the entertainment, through a picture, a painting is not an entertainment. That sends you a message. The same was for music. Was not an entertainment. Some music was, but mostly they sent message. So we had music from the court and music from the church. And the missing point, that the music was done by the people for themselves, we don't have it anymore.
Wow. Okay, I want to ask a different question now. Well, for example, what would be for you, understanding, what is the message of this modern music, which I don't understand because I am getting old, maybe, but let's say there is Metallica, or there is this computer music, there is New Age music. So what is the message into this? Is there any message at all, or is it just garbage, or just, I don't know, what would you classify as?
So much to say, as now the musical world has become affordable to everyone. Yes. So you can just buy a guitar or any instrument for a few dollars, not even buy anything, just with your smartphone. You can have apps to record it professionally. I want to not say if you have a computer and a microphone, you can do even a professional recording.
Yes,
all alone in your studio. So this spread out the world of music to a huge amount of.
But still, what is the message this music gives today to the youth, for example?
So this great quantity, to my opinion, make the quality very low, very low. So we have big quantity, very low quality in every field. So that's why I think you should say this Kali Yuga, you call like that?
Yes, Kali Yuga. But for example, somebody said that they changed the note from 732 to, they remember we were...
432?
432 to 444. I don't remember. What is that about? Because something intriguing to some people who are musicians say, why did they change the scale of the sound, the music? Is there a subtle message behind? Is it demoniac or is it futuristic?
Yeah, what happened is that during the Second World War, the Nazi in Berlin, they moved the diapason, means the fixed note, the starting note that is an A in English, La in Latin, is from 42 hertz to 44 hertz. This raised the pitch. Okay, why did they did that? Some say that was to increase the
The what? Passion.
The passion, yeah,
passion.
yeah, and so the greed, passion, in this sense. Maybe it's true, But what I know that in the past centuries, the diapason, so is called the height of the earths of the note A, changed many times. So was even higher than 440. Sometimes in the theater, they used to have lower pitch, so the singer could sing either note. It is, but in the church, they like higher pitch too. So it's very difficult to answer this question. I suggest you experience really yourself, as you have so many in this YouTube or something like that will help us on our research. So experience yourself if you're experiencing differences in between the same music played in two different diapason.
I don't know. It's difficult in India because there's so much sound everywhere, and even in the night, sometimes the cricket doesn't let you sleep because it goes beep, beep,
Like
beep, and the bird
night.
in the morning, and the sound of the tractor in the back, and the people shouting, and the kirtan. Okay, let me jump into another almost final of our time. It's getting over. And you have been for the last 10 days in Mayapur. So what is the most wonderful thing you experienced in Mayapur, apart from taking bath in the Ganges or eating pizza in our Goranga pizzeria? I don't know what. But let me...
What I can tell you, I've been in Mayapur exactly 21 years ago. And by the time was already a mystical place. So I felt really good as an old hippie, let me say, good vibrations. Yes, here and in Nawadip too. I really felt this area as something special.
Is this traveling to India enhance your relationship with the Supreme?
For sure. With the depth part of myself and the higher part of this universe.
We thank you so much for coming today to our Radio Mayapur, which is a link to your heart. I hope when you go back to your Rome, Genzano, a beautiful place, you will tell your friends about our radio and let them listen whenever they want about some wonderful music. I'd like to thank everybody to the listener, and this is Ganga Das from Mayapur,
Thank you for
Fabio,
inviting me.
and sure.
Thank you for inviting me. It's really a good blessing. As you said, today's Ganges bath was the ending of an amazing experience.